Shalom. It's the Hebrew Israelite prophesying the downfall of America. But first and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Wakrak Kadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and the brothers preaching this truth and sincerity to the four corners of the earth. And today, I want to name this lesson, The God of the Bible. Did you know that the God of the Bible is your God, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and no one else's? Okay, let's prove that. Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Yeah, and these 12 is the 12 disciples. Verse 6, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Yeah, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Verse 7, and as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. All right, let's prove that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is the children of Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Verse 16, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Yeah, you living in ghettos, slums, bodegas, reservations, you know. Verse 17, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. 18, cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Verse 19, cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. Right. You curse the day you born to the day you die. Drop it down to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Yeah, your children are going to be given to other nations, and you're going to be looking for them to come back all day long and all night, but they ain't going to come back, you know, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. Right. Niggers, speaks, wetbacks, redskins, verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Right. You're going to have sons and daughters, and you won't be able to watch them grow up. You won't be able to play with them, but because they're going to be enslaved, to the other nations. Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Right. The other nations will be above you, and you will be at the bottom, Can't afford so-called nice things, don't own any businesses, barely making money to eat and pay bills. This is verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Right. You borrow from banks and loan places, but you can't afford to pay them back because the money you're paying them back with, you need it. This verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. Yeah, because you didn't listen to the word of the Lord, your power, because the word God is just a title. That's not the real name of the Most High, which is Yahweh, meaning he is or he to be in the Hebrew tongue. Hold on, let me bring that out. Just bear with me here. Um, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 14. And Yahweh said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying you want me to tell Israel that I am have told me to come to you, you know. And the son's name, who the word ignorantly called Jesus, his name is Yahweh, meaning he deliver or he saves in the Hebrew tongue, because he a Hebrew also from the seed line of Abraham, which was a Hebrew also. Let me bring this one out. Exodus chapter 23, verse 21. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. Yeah, which is self-explaining, the deliverer saying my name is in his name, my name is in him, Yahweh and Yahweh, not God and Jesus. Those are totally two different names, which don't sound like none at all. But moving on back to some of the curses Yahweh put on us. Back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Yeah, because we didn't worship the Lord our power with joy and gladness for a lot of all things, Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron around thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Yeah. So who had thick pieces of iron around their necks? The slaves, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Until you forgot who you was, and till you forgot who your power was and your land, which is Israel, because it's a people before it's a land, And then he sent us, into to our enemies, in nakedness and in hunger and in thirst, who we got to go to get those things, we got to go to the white man to get our clothes and food and water and stuff. This is verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Right. Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Yeah, a vicious nation, killing and taking everything because they're the devil that the Bible speaks of. Not caring for the old or the young, just taking and destroying. Verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Yeah, we over here serving that white meat. We call it Jesus. Thinking he our Lord and Savior. But he's not. Um, this is verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. And Egypt represent when you go into it, is represent bondage, slavery. So reading that over, verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall redeem you. Right. So, we came here to America on ships, as bondmen, which is slave men, and bondwomen, which is slave women. And no man shall redeem us, meaning that word, that word by, when you go into it, that, what I'm saying, is it also means redeem, and let's see. Yeah, Salakia. And so we are Israel, the curses fit us, nobody else went into slavery, besides the children of Israel, So, God, the God of the Bible, he belonged to us and no other nations. So let's prove that, because Christianity like to tell us, like to use John 3:16 to say anybody can be saved, but the God of the Bible is only for us, which is Israel. Let's bring that out. John 3:16. Salakia. John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. That's the verse that they like using. But that word world in John 3:16 is for the Israelites only, because you got the animal world, you have Sea World, you have Disney World, Wayne's World, Entertainment World, so forth and so on. You got all these worlds that religious people don't include themselves in, but when it comes to the world in John 3:16, they want to include themselves. But just what God say. Let me bring it out. The book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Yeah, so we are that lost sheep, because slavery destroyed us. We forgot everything about us, and we fell short of the Lord's glory. So let's see what the book of Isaiah says. Let me bring that out. Give me a minute here. The book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. So yeah, that what the John 3:16 talks about. That's the word it talks about, you know. So that's not you other nations world, you know. That's for the Israelites, which is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know, I got another verse I want to bring out. Hold on for a minute. Let me see. Okay, here it is. The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 21. It says, "Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered." You know, which is that 144,000 elect of the nation of Israel. You know, which is that 12,000 from each tribe of the 12 tribes of Israel, which is written on the 12 gates in heaven. And who was the wicked? The so-called white people. You know, Esau. You know, who name was changed to Edom. You know, let's go to the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You know, who ruling earth right now? You know, who killed masses of people and took land? Who owned the banks? Who you got to buy clothes and food from? You know, who got the best paid jobs? You know, riding in the best cars. You know, reading on. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Right, the judges is the Israelites. You know, he took the people of color and whitewashed them. Reading on. If not, where and who is he? Right, the white man, which is basically, you know what I'm saying, which is Salakia, biblically named Esau, as I was bringing out earlier. You know, he put him as the creator. You know, as the angels in heaven. You know, and he passed laws that men of the same sex can marry each other, and the same as women of the same sex. You know, and that's an abomination according to the Bible. You know, and let's not forget what the God of the Bible looked like. You know, um, going to the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool. Yeah, he had have white woolly hair. You know, um, reading on, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Yeah, he have red eyes. You know, because he angry. You know, and he drank wine. Verse 15, and his feet like unto fine brass. You know what the color of brass, Salakia. The color of brass, you know, is a another color of brown, as if they burn in the furnace. If you burn anything in the furnace, you know what color it's gonna be. And his voice as the sound of many waters. Yeah, so he had this loud, you know, powerful voice, you know, and he was a dark so-called black person, because so-called black people, we have woolly hair. So with that being said, I hope this lesson was edifying, and I want to say all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham, Rakak Kadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and the brothers preaching this truth and sincerity to the four corners of the earth. Shalom.